everybody, it's Sam here from Frugalissima, and I'm here to talk to you about my summer sewing plans. I've got some fabrics and patterns to talk to you about, and I've got a little announcement at the end as well. First of all, I'd like to thank everyone for subscribing and liking my previous videos. I've been making videos about the Great British Sewing Bee, which has sadly come to an end now. I do have a roundup and a review coming about that one. So if you've hopped over here to see what I did there from Michelle at Sewing Bunny, thank you very much. If you would like to subscribe, there's a little subscription in the corner of my videos. And if you want to be notified, if you just click that subscription bell, and it will notify you of any videos that I've got coming up. So thank you to Michelle, thank you for mentioning my video. It's such a sweet thing to do, it's really kind. She's such a little ray of sunshine, and if you don't know who I'm talking about, Michelle at Sewing Bunny, if you hop on over to her channel and say hi, tell her that I've sent you across. So if you're interested in dressmaking, that's generally what I talk about. I'm particularly interested in dressmaking on a budget. I do other crafts as well, as you'll find out at the end of this one, but primarily dressmaking. I also write a blog over at Frugalissima, and I regularly post on Instagram, also at Frugalissima. You might get a sneaky peek of things that I've made up there before I actually get a video out as well. So on to my sewing plans. Grab yourself a cuppa, I've got mine. Cheers. So if you're sitting comfortably, I've got a tail to tail, starting with this jumpsuit that I'm wearing. Just excuse me a second. So back in September, I think it was, I attended a presentation by History Wardrobe. If you've never heard of those, and they are UK based, and I think they're specifically more northern based. There are a couple of ladies that do presentations about the history of fashion, and they are really funny. They touch on politics and women's issues and art and literature. So they've done one on Gustav Klimt's The Kiss and the costume that they wear there. But this specific one in September was called Wish You Were Here, and in it they showed these most beautiful silk beach pyjamas that I'd ever seen from the 1920s. So if you think back to the 1920s, people were just coming out of the Edwardian era, and it was quite sort of something for women to wear trousers actually. And it was really fascinating. I won't go into the history wardrobe thing part of it, but these beach pyjamas really struck me. And then back in June, Rosie over at Rosie Sews Modern Vintage posted a photograph of this pattern. This is a Now and Then pattern, and they are called beach pyjamas. And as you can see there is a dress option and the trousers option, and then a shorter dress option there as well. And it really did strike me that these were almost identical to the beach pyjamas that I'd seen in the history wardrobe, and I did come away from that thinking that I'd maybe try and draft my own pattern. I don't think it's a million miles away from the Zadie jumpsuit. I think that's just got probably longer sleeves. I'm not sure, I've not looked at it properly, but I think it's got cap sleeves, longer sleeves. So I'll just stand up, but I will insert some photographs as well, so you can have a proper look at them. So you've got pockets, and ties at the back, and it's a wrap-over. There's no complicated closures like buttons or zips on this, it's just, it ties at the back. There is a buttonhole for the tie to go through, which you can possibly see here. And I went on a mission to find the fabric. Now, this was made during the sewing weekender, and during the sewing weekender there was a post on Instagram from one of my favourite fabric shops, Lucky Fashions, and she posted some broderie on glaze there. And she posted it, the one that she posted was in white. So I made an appointment to go see her and look for some fabric for this jumpsuit as well, and look at this broderie on glaze. So I went to Lucky Fashions and ended up coming out with this little lot here. So what have we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 fabrics. Oh, 8, because there's this as well. 8 fabrics. Now, I don't generally shop like this, but there was 8 fabrics there. It cost me £49. So she's really good on her prices, is Manjit over there. The most expensive actually was a broderie anglaise. That was £8 a metre, and she always chucks a bit more in anyway. So yeah, so I got this fabric to make these. Got it in the wash, made them up almost immediately during the sewing weekend. I think they were still damp, so I was still sewing them. I was just so excited to make them, and I've got plans to make more as well. I could make 1,100 of these. They're so comfortable, just so comfortable. And Ali over at Thimbers, who was on the sewing bee, was doing a bit of a challenge called Jumping into June. So I'll insert the photograph that I put on Instagram. It wasn't a competition. It was just a challenge, just a bit of fun. During the sewing weekend, Sew Over It launched their new ebook, and I was very, very tempted to buy it. In the past, I've bought their other 2 ebooks, and they've turned out to be quite a good value. The first one, I've made everything in it except the I think it was a Lola coat it was called, and I've made the Mia jeans quite a few times, the Molly dress and top. It was quite a good value, and I think it was £25 for that PDF download. So the second ebook wasn't quite as successful. The Edie top, I've made 4 or 5 of those, and that's been a really good pattern for me. But the rest of it, I liked it, and obviously I liked it enough to buy it. So my finger was on the button to buy it because there was a discount on during the sewing weekend. So it was retailing at £30, and I think you could get it for 25 with a discount code, which turned out good. But they were offering a printing service, and if you wanted it all printed, it was a mere £90. No, not paying that. £90 for 5 patterns. Good grief. No. So I was umming and ahhing about whether I should buy it, and then I thought, hang on a minute. That Porto boiler suit is very similar to this boiler suit in the Great British Sewing Bee. So it got me on a bit of a mission, really. So I will insert a picture of the Porto and show you the picture of the jumpsuit in here, so you can see the line drawing there, and I'll insert a picture as well. And no, they're not identical, and yes, with the Sew Over It one you can make trousers. I'm pretty sure I can make any trousers like that anyway, but they're close enough for me to make me start thinking maybe I could replicate some of the other patterns as well. So the Alba crosser wrap skirt, if you've watched any of my Great British Sewing Bee videos, you'll know that I found a crest skirt from Mood Fabrics, very, very similar. The Ravello dress, there is a very similar free one on a fabric store called the Luciana. The Sienna dress, there is an almost identical one on Style Art called the Ariana. I noticed that Alex Judge was doing a video of what the frock. If you've not seen that, have a look at that, because it's really, really good. She shows you all her patterns. And that Sienna is almost identical to the Ariana. I'm not sure whether there's a shade back in it or not. But obviously the Ariana's not free. So that got me set me off looking for any patterns that I might have. Now, whilst I was looking, I came across a Mimi G one. That's called the Jessica dress. Now, I think that might have been free at some point. I can't find that it's free now. It costs $3, but $3 is a lot cheaper than £30. And then the Sorrento jacket. That's a denim jacket. Now it is cropped, and I do have a very similar one with seam work. I think that's called the Audrey, and that's actually on my Mate 9. but I've got a ready-to-wear denim jacket that I still wear, so I think that's why I've not got around to making the order, because it's just like, what's the point? Unless I make it in a nice sort of different denim colour, like a pink or something to go and tie in. So that's the story of the Sew Over It book. I said no, and I had a look around to see what I had, rather than buy it. And to be quite honest, you know, my past experience is you buy these patterns, all 5 of them, and there's 12 different variations. You might make 3 or 4, so I didn't in the end buy it. So on to my little fabric haul. So when I went to Lucky Fashions, I specifically went for this. I saw this fabric here. I had polka dots in mind for the Now and Then pattern, and polka dots I got, and I specifically saw this broderie anglaise. So let me just see if I can give you a good idea of how pretty it is. How pretty is that? And she actually advertised a white one, and when I messaged her to see how much it was, just to let you know, she doesn't have a website. She will put she over lockdown, she had no business, she had no website, she had to close. So every now and again she might put something on Instagram, and you messaged her, because she's quite local to me anyway, but she posted things out. So I messaged her to see how much it was, and she told me it's £8 a metre, and she said, but we've got it in blue. Now when I got to the shop for my appointment, it wasn't quite, it was like an off-white, it wasn't really a white, and to be quite honest, me and white, I'm too gormless really. I still, so, and as soon as I saw that blue I thought, that's me. So that will make me a nice dress, and it might make the Luciana wrap dress, or it might make the equivalent of the Sienna. Whilst I was in there, I was wanting to find some fabric for the boiler suit that's in the Great British Sewing Bee book as well, and she had some nice linens in. Now, me being me, I was completely drawn to the blue, and this blue. I mean, it's not a million miles away from what I'm wearing. It's like a chalk blue. I think this were £5 a metre or something. It might have something mixed in with it. I'm not sure. When I've looked at the design of the jumpsuit, it's more of a boiler suit than a jumpsuit. I thought I might look a bit like an engineer in this blue. I don't know, it might be a bit too much. So I might make the Sophia dungarees in that, because I think it'd be a little bit less mechanic-y in the Sophias. Whilst she was downstairs cutting my fabric, I had a little rummage through a remnant bin, because I can't help myself, and I saw this. Now this has already been cut into, because I've cut the fabric whilst I was trying to. Isn't that pretty? I was trying to decide whether a pattern would fit onto that, and I thought I might as well just cut it out whilst it's on the table. I might as well just do that. So I have cut out the Melody Dolman out of that. Now, because that was in the remnant bin, there were a couple of faults on it. It cost me £4. I've got a shirt out of it for £4, so I'm not. It's absolutely fine. And then when I was in there, I also spotted this, which is a viscose. The other one was a viscose as well. It's kind of feathers, like a turquoise, an aqua blue, and like a coral feathers on it. And I originally had in mind of making another one of these with this, but I don't know whether it might be just a little bit too much. So I think I'm going to make the Rosa Dress out of this. So this is the Rosa Dress, which was a freebie in a magazine, which is the one that I owned, which I thought was close enough to the Sienna dress. It doesn't have the sheared back at all, but it's got a very similar little sort of sun top thing there. It's just the straps that are a little bit wider, which actually makes it easier to wear with your bra straps. And I think those feathers, or one that I already had, would make a really nice Rosa dress. This is another one that I had. Again, lucky fashion, but I've had this quite a while. That's not a recent one, but I'm fairly sure she's still got that in the shop. Either of those for the Rosa dress would be really pretty. Or the Mimi G one, to replicate that sew over it Sienna dress. Whilst I was in there, I picked up this stretch fabric. Now this is really slinky and stretchy. How pretty is that? So yeah, I think I'm going to make a t-shirt with that one. It's really pretty. Definitely my colours. And I also got this stripy one. Again, another t-shirt, and pulled this one out of the remnant bin as well, which will be another t-shirt. Now I know I'm being a bit vague about these t-shirts and there's a reason for it. What I plan to do is to do a compare and contrast 5 free t-shirts. So I've got these 3 and then I've got some that I had already. These were remnant bins from finds from Fabworks. So you've got your stripy one there, and a plain one there, and yeah, I'm going to find 5 free t-shirt patterns. I've already made quite a few free t-shirt patterns, but it's so long ago in the past, and I really need a few more for the summer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to challenge myself to make 5 t-shirts and then give a thorough review of what I think of all the different ones and how good they are, compare and contrast them, and come back and do that. So that's for the t-shirt challenge. And then just as I was leaving Lucky Fashions, I found this gorgeousness, which is just a cotton voile. And again, there's not a lot here because I've already cut into it. It was another one that was, whilst it was on the cutting table, I might as well cut into it. So quite a while ago, can't remember how long now, Kim at Dorothy's Daughter had a 4,000 subscriber giveaway, I think it was, to win some patterns from Love Notions. So I ordered the Rhapsody blouse and dress, and I ordered the Melody Dolman and the Sabrine Slims. I've no sort of plans to make the Sabrine Slims anytime soon, but the Melody Dolman will be that blue fabric that I showed earlier, and this one will be the Rhapsody. And I think that's perfect for the Rhapsody, nice and floaty. I don't know if you've ever. Lots of people have been reviewing the Rhapsody recently. It seems to be the pattern of the moment. It's got 9 sleeve options. So you've got your sleeveless, you've got your capped, flutter, and then you've got bishops, different sort of lengths of bishops. You've got the lovely ties on it, which you could put tassels on. Island Sewist has done a little tutorial on putting tassels on, a double tassel, which I will definitely do for this next fabric that I'm going to show you. And a dress option as well. I mean, it's such good value. I mean, even better value for me because it would cost me nothing, but it's such a good value pattern is that. And then the Melody, that's a really nice sort of, that'll be a really nice sort of summer shirt pattern. So one of my previous visits to Lucky Fashions, I picked up this gorgeousness, and this is all sorts of different tropical fruits on it. Now this, I think I bought this at the beginning of the year. It was a sewing meetup, a Dewsbury sewing meetup, and I bought this. Now I have seen this online at various different prices. This was £5 a metre in Lucky Fashions. I've seen it up to upwards of £10 a metre, that one. And I've already cut out, again, I've got about a metre of this left, so I've got something else. I might use it for linings for a pair of shorts, or I might try and squeeze a top out of this. So tenner, and I've got a dress and a top out of this. So I'm going to make the short dress version of this now and then. So again, this is good value, because you've got your maxi dress, your long trousers. I don't do it as an option as shorts, but you could quite easily make this into a play suit. I don't see why you couldn't. And then you've got the short dress. So I'm going to do the short dress because I really do think that in either a maxi or this, it'd be a bit much for me. I mean, it's not for everybody, but it'd be a bit too much for me, I think. And when I wear something, I don't particularly want to stand out. I don't know if you know what I mean. It's just I'm a bit, yeah, a bit sort of funny like that. So back onto the Rhapsody. Once I've made the one in the cotton voile, I'm going to make another one in this embroidered loveliness. And this, again, I bought at the same time as the fruity one earlier in the year, specifically for summer. I'm probably like everybody else, I had grand plans of, in fact I should be all nice and golden now, having just returned from my trip to Greece, but that got cancelled like everybody else's. So I thought this would be a fabulous little holiday top in Greece, but yeah, that'll be a Rhapsody, I think. Like I said before, me and white don't always get on, so how long it's going to last before I get spaghetti bolognese down the front of it, who knows. So that's that one. Back in January, I went to the Manchester Sewing Bee and bought some fabrics from Lulu Designs, and they have a little competition that if you tag them in on Instagram, you win a voucher, and I think it was £20, £25, maybe, like something like that. I tagged them in with a photograph that I'm going to show you now, and just tagged in Lulu Designs, and I won a voucher, which was fantastic. And I ordered this, which is a Babbling Brook viscose, which is absolutely beautiful. Now they don't have this colourway on their website anymore, but I will link it below because I've got some other colourways, and it is really, really nice. And I think that will make another one of these. I think it'll make a really nice one of these, actually. So that's that. So, top tip, always tag in the fabric suppliers that you don't know. I know Fabricator Murfield do it. Lucky Fashions has started doing it. She's got her £20 voucher. Yeah, Lulu Designs do it. Tag them in. You never know what if you pick up a voucher. It's always worth it. The sewing meetup. I think this was just after I got back from Switzerland and Germany. We went to Walton's at Goldthorpe, and I picked up this beautiful striped linen. And again, I think this is a linen mix. I think it's got something in it because it doesn't crease like linen. But it's a lovely drape to it. You can see a theme here, can't you, with the blue? I'm trying to block out the light so it doesn't blind it out. But yeah, it's lovely and drapey. And I think I might make another one of the New Look 6446. And I might go for the dress this time. I've not made the dress, I've made this one twice. I'll put some pictures in for you. That would also make a nice Luciana wrap, a bit like the Ravello from the Sew Over It. It would make a really nice wrap dress. But I've already got the Luciana cut out in this fabric, which I have had in my stash for donkeys, absolutely donkeys. Now this is a linen, I think. You can see I've cut into it, and I bought this probably 10 years ago, to make a jacket, to make the lining of a jacket. So it shows you how much I've come on from there, because I don't think it's really suitable. And it's just a really nice linen, and it's just been sat there. It's quite crisp, and I've had it through the wash twice now. So if you've got any tips on getting the crispness out of it, I don't know if it's just too much starch in it or whether it's just that's its nature. Don't know whether putting salt in it might do it. Just leave me a comment below. I've got a feeling putting salt in does something, but I'm not sure what. So that's not a recent acquisition, but it is a plan in that I'm going to make the Luciana, which is like the Rivello from the Sew Over It ebook. So that's that. And then one last fabric that I got from Walton's at Goldthorpe was this plain blue t-shirt fabric, which I bought to make the Rosa dress. I think that's how you pronounce it. I apologise if I've butchered it. I've looked it up and I'm fairly sure it's not spelt like it's said. I think it's called Rosa. I will put the spelling up and you can correct me if I'm wrong, Mags. But I bought this back when we had the meet-up in Goldthorpe, which was probably just before lockdown was that. On reflection, I don't think this is the correct fabric for the Rosa. I don't think it's got enough drape to it. In fact, I tell you what would be fabulous. If I've got enough, this would be, but I think I only bought 1.5 meters of that, and I think it asks for 2 meters, and it's got a knot in it, and I'm fairly sure I will need it. So I'll have to do a bit of finagling about if I see if I can do it. So that probably will go on the t-shirt pile, the 5 t-shirt challenge pile. Nearly finished. So back to the sewing weekender as I made this shirt. So my pal Lynn, who I've known for 30 odd years, was watching the Great British Sewing Bee, the second episode. It was Mark who won with the most fabulous fabric in this Simplicity shirt here. And she contacted me straight away and said, would I make one for her husband? Same fabric, same shirt. And I said, yeah, no problem. If you know me at all, you'll think, well, what? I usually say no. People have asked me before and I usually say no. I usually sort of talk myself out of it. But I've known Lynn 30 years. I love her to bits. Her husband does loads of driving for us. He takes us all over. And to be honest, I fancied a challenge doing the shirts, and I thought, yeah, I'll give it a go. So during the sewing weekend, made a toile. Now you're going to think I'm bonkers, but I've finished it properly. I've made it properly. Ali did message me and say, why have you, it's only a toile, why have you gone to all that trouble? You've even put pocket on. I even actually put, there's a little button loop there that I put on and then took off because I didn't like it. But honestly, this fabric is it was a remnant from Fabworks. It cost me about £2 or £3. It is absolutely gorgeous. It's a really, really good quality shirt in cotton. And I thought, if I'm going to cut into it and make a shirt, I might as well do it right. And my husband can have a free shirt out of the bargain. So I said to her, you'll get the shirt pattern and the fabric and I will make you the shirt, no problem. His birthday's not till August, so there's no massive rush. So the fabric arrived, and I've spoken about this fabric previously. There was a fault on it. Now, the fault was impossible to see until you were actually up close to it and I was ironing it, and the only time I would be ironing it is after I've washed it. So of course you go back to the company and say there's a fault, but we've already washed it, and they say, what? You're not having your money back? It's you've been through the washing machine. Your washing machine's done it. It wasn't my washing machine. It was a fault. So because I hadn't bought it, my friend had bought it. I let her deal with it, and they eventually decided that yes, the fault was theirs. Now this isn't Lady McElroy fabric, it wasn't a cheap fabric then, it wasn't sold as a remnant, and we've eventually got the fabric back, and it's this rather fabulous, exactly the same one. I think it's called Coleman Bouquet or something, I'll put it down below. And that is perfect. I have checked it before I've washed it. You live and learn. Die and forget it all. So that will be a shirt for her husband Clarky for his 50th birthday. If anybody's got any ideas of how I can get a one-off label into his shirt that just says perhaps his name and marking his 50th birthday. I know I can buy labels, but I don't want 100. I've got labels with my name on, I just want a bespoke one. So if anybody's got any ideas, leave me a comment below of what you think. So that's the shirt, and as part of the recompense for that shirt, the company, I'm not going to name them because I don't really believe in ruining people's businesses unless they really, really tick me off, and then but part of the recompense was that they sent her a voucher to have £15 off if she spent £15. I think the correct way of dealing with that, the company would say, I'm really very sorry, keep your fabric, here's some more, end of story. But she had to go through a lot of loopholes to get to the £15 off. She doesn't sew, or she doesn't sew much, and she said, you have it, Sam. And I said, all right, thank you, I've got to spend 15 quid to get 15 quid. But, and I'm going to open it now because the postman's just been eyeing up this, sorry if you've got headphones on, this showering dots for months. Look at that. And we'll check it for faults. Yeah, I've been eyeing that up. I've seen it in different colourways. This was used in the first sewing bee when they did the tea dresses. Matt won the first one, and he did his tea dress in this, but in a different colourway. If you remember, he did it in 2 different colourways. But I'd seen this months and months ago, and as soon as I saw it, I loved it, and I thought, I'll go see if they've got it in blue. I didn't buy it because it's expensive. So I got that 2.2 metres for whatever it cost extra. I think it was another £15 or £15 plus postage or something. So I'm happy with that, really. On to one of my last ones. Another, I'm not going to call them selfless sewing because that suggests that sewing itself is selfish. Sewing for yourself is selfish, and it blooming well isn't. If you remember one of my previous videos about the rugby shirts in the Great British Sewing Bee, and I was trying to work out how to do the plackets, and my challenge was to use fabric and patterns myself that I already owned, and my son said yes, I would wear one of those if it was in black, and I didn't have any black. So I've done all the twirls, and I think I'm going to, I've bought this from Fabworks, and it's very, very boring black, but it has got a little bit of texture on it, and that is 100% cotton, and I think that was £7 a metre. It's a while since I bought this, actually. So that's part of my summer sewing plans, although I can't see he's going to want a long-sleeved rugby shirt anytime soon, really. But so yeah, I'll make him that, bless him. He's been a good lad. And onto my last sewing plan is I am a blogger for Minerva Makers, I think they're called now, and the Minerva Crafts. I can never remember. And I ordered this fabric back in February. I should have made this up, but they've had a bit of a thing with an update with their website, so there's not been any rush for anything. And I ordered this, which is a linen mix, and I ordered 3 metres, and without any clear idea as to what I was going to make. I thought it'd make a really nice vintage style dress, but it's a little bit on the heavy side for anything with a full circle. And I've been a bit stumped what to make for it until last week's Great British Sewing Bee challenge, and I'm going to make that dress in that. So next time you see me, I will be wearing this. So that's my final sewing plans, I think. Just one last thing as it for making, and that is some crochet. Now, I am not a natural crocheter. You call it a crocheter? But a couple of summers ago, I got this crochet magazine with this in it, and that is absolutely beautiful. Also white, and luckily I couldn't find white, but I could find blue. And I started this 2 years ago when I bought it, and started. Look at that! I'm not a crocheter, but I made those. And then I abandoned it because you've got to join them in, and I could never fathom out how to join them in. So I'm going to revisit this, I think. I made about half a dozen, and then I realised I had to join them in as I went, and I thought, oh. So I'm going to have to revisit this one, and hopefully this will be done before winter, when I can wear it. Although, because it's a light blue denim colour, I'll be able to wear that autumn. It'd probably be a nice throw over in autumn and winter, actually. It might still be ongoing this time next year, that one, but so I'm hoping to pick that back up. It's quite fine. I'm used to using double crochet, so, and the needle's quite fine, so I'm going to be a bit, we call it cack-handed in Yorkshire. I'm going to be a bit cack-handed, I think, to start off with, but hopefully I'll be able to get my eye in. So as of the 1st of July, which is tomorrow, I'm planning on doing 100 days of sewing. Now, this is a threefold thing for me. Number one, I'm aware that there are a lot of people at home now who want to get into sewing, but just feel like they can't afford, or they don't know where to start. So I want to start off by allaying people's fears of how expensive sewing is. It can be expensive, it's like any hobby. Knitting and crochet that's another one. But I want to make sure that people realise that it is accessible. So I want to do 100 days of sewing. So that will take us up into mid-November. And what I plan to do, don't worry, I'm not posting up a vlog every day. What I plan to do is on a Wednesday and on a Friday. So I will do the recordings Monday to Friday. On a Wednesday and on a Friday I will amalgamate 2 or 3 of them together, and hopefully we will take people from the very basics, but I want to keep it accessible to everybody. So I don't want you to think, oh, I can already sew. There's going to be lots of hints and tips within there. I'm going to keep them fairly short form, so that it's not, I don't want to inundate your inbox with loads and loads of loads and loads of videos that you're going to have to catch up on. The idea of doing it on a Wednesday and a Friday is that on a Friday you can catch up. So we'll be starting I'll make my announcement on Wednesday. This is a big commitment for me, crikey. And on the Friday then, which will be the 3rd of July, you will have the first 3 videos to watch, and that will be getting your equipment together on a budget. So it is very much focused on sewing with a budget. I realise a lot of people aren't working now. This is how I started sewing on a budget. Yes, it was 30 years ago, but things haven't changed really. You can still get things reasonably cheaply. I want to start a little community with this channel. So if I can get up to 1,000 subscribers, that means that I'll be able to put little polls on. So it was going to be a 2-way conversation, so you'll be able to have a little bit of input as to what you want, and it'll just hopefully, number 3, get me a little bit more comfortable in front of the camera. If I've got to sit here every day, I'm going to be a little less. I'm well aware that I feel that I'm a bit awkward. I'm not shy, I'm not a shy person, but I am quite self-conscious. And I think it's going to help me quite a bit, not just in vlogging, but in my work life as well. I work in a library. I'm expected to present. I get really sort of worked up if I have to do that, and I think this is going to be a nice 3-way little community. So Please like and subscribe. Leave any comments below if you've got any ideas of what you want to know, what to do. The plan is to sort of start very sort of gently, and if there are any very beginning sewers, we will do some very basic projects and work up to perhaps drafting your own patterns. But any patterns that I use will all be free, which ties in with the compare and contrast with the 5 free t-shirts that I was talking about earlier, in that I will sort of make them up, and then you can vote as to which one we can all sew together. So that's the plans for the channel. On a Friday and on a Wednesday I will post those. On a Sunday I am planning just to do videos like this where they're reviews. I don't plan on doing a lot of fabric hauls, but I will be doing plans and chatty things. I've asked Ali from the Sewing Bee if she'll do a quick Q&A with me, so that will be coming up as well. And I've got the review for the sleepwear set to do, and the bomber jacket, so they will be coming up as well, and the overall review for the Great British Sewing Bee, which I'll probably tie in with the Q&A with Ali. So yes, grand plans. Please like and subscribe, and like I say, leave any comments below if you've got any ideas for any of those fabrics that I was a little bit vague with, or any ideas for if you're excited about the little sewing 100 days of sewing that I'm going to do. Maybe you've got some ideas of your own that you might want to see. Just let me know. Alright, thank you very much for watching, and I will speak to you later. Bye.